Hearty welcome to all knowledge seekers to my channel. This is Dr. Madhusudan Rao Kadapa. This video is on maintenance management, methods, procedures and strategies. Starting with the definition of maintenance. Maintenance is the process of keeping all machinery, equipments in good condition and ensuring the availability of the equipments whenever they are called for an action. That means in any production oriented organization, all the machinery, equipment and tools whatever they use should be available and should be in good condition in order to avoid production loss and also to minimize the downtime on machinery as well as the manpower. In further slides, I will explain about the importance of maintenance, functions of maintenance department, types of maintenance, spares management, equipment replacement decisions and replacement policies. Coming to the importance of maintenance. Why maintenance is important in any organization where there are machinery and equipment. Means first, to facilitate uninterrupted production. Unless all the machinery and equipment are in good condition, we cannot ensure uninterrupted production process. So in order to have a smooth and continuous flow of the production processes, all the equipment or equipments that we use in the production process must be in good working condition. Then to enhance the availability of machinery and equipment when required. It means availability means the machinery or equipment should be available in good condition. So maintenance will enhance the availability of machinery by keeping all the machinery and equipment in good condition. Then thirdly, to avoid accidents due to sudden failure of machines. In organizations, sometimes maybe due to the ignorance or wrong handling of machinery or equipment, or maybe sudden failure of some of the components, sometimes there is possibility that an accident may take place or an operator may meet an accident which may lead to some kind of injury or loss to the operator as well as for the organization. But through proper maintenance, any such failure of a component may be avoided and we can avoid accidents which may occur due to sudden failure of some of the components in the machinery. Then to extend the useful life period of the machine or equipment. So we are all very familiar that any equipment or maintenance, even our vehicle, if it is properly maintained, its useful life period will be more, its availability will be more, its reliability will be more. Similarly, the machinery and equipment which we use in industrial organizations can also have extended useful life period through proper maintenance. To avoid or minimize the idle time of men or machines due to breakdowns. Suppose if the machines or equipments are not properly maintained, there may be breakdown. As a result, the manpower will be idle or the machine may be idle. The idle time on machine or the idle men will cost something to the organization. So in order to avoid or minimize the idle time of machine or men due to breakdowns, we have to maintain all the machinery in good condition. And to reduce the cost of operation through proper replacement strategies. Because maintenance usually involves some cost as we are replacing some of the components, and depending on the frequency of such kind of replacements or repeated breakdowns, at some time we have to decide whether to run the machine or to replace it. So maintenance department will take care of such replacement decisions through proper evaluation of the operational costs involved in maintaining an equipment or a machinery, and to maintain records of equipment performance and repairs for costing purpose. Simply maintenance doesn't mean replacement of a component or a major part whenever a breakdown occurs, or maybe during preventive maintenance, and simply keeping the machinery or equipment in good condition doesn't end. So it doesn't end with the actual function of the maintenance department. It has to maintain record of the performance of all equipments, which may include the frequency of occurrence of different kinds of failures, and what is the cost of maintaining, cost of spares, cost of labor involved in maintaining the machinery. All these things will be recorded in order to assess how much cost is incurred in maintaining an equipment in good condition. Coming to the functions of maintenance department. As other departments have different functions, maintenance department, suppose if maintenance department is separately structured in any organization or in a big organization, then there are several activities like planning, scheduling, financing, and other activities. So maintenance planning, suppose an organization has some hundreds of machinery and equipment which needs a planned maintenance, then the maintenance department has to look at the average time between failures and frequency of failures and type of failures, and what kind of maintenance has to be adopted for a particular machine or group of machines, whether to go for breakdown maintenance or to go for preventive maintenance. Accordingly, the maintenance plan for all the machinery and equipment has to be made. That is what we call a maintenance planning. And then once the plan is made, the time phasing of the plan for maintaining different machinery and equipment is prepared. This is what we call maintenance scheduling. So at what point of time exactly a machine has to be maintained or a spare has to be replaced, depending on the past history of the performance of the machinery or equipment. And then coordination. The head of maintenance department has to coordinate with production and finance departments. The coordination of maintenance and production will be such that the maintenance department will take up the maintenance activities depending on the availability of machinery for maintenance as given by production department. Suppose if it is a continuous process industry, there will be some schedule to go for planned maintenance, or else some facilities may be idle. In such case, the idle time of different facilities will be furnished by the production department, and those machines can be kept in good condition before taking up the maintenance of other equipment like that. And maintenance department has to coordinate with finance department in order to fund for the spares and other requirements for effective functioning of the maintenance department. Then spare parts management. Spare parts are those components or parts which have to be replaced whenever a breakdown occurs, or else as a part of preventive maintenance strategy. So how much spare parts are required and who are the suppliers and how to process the purchase of spare parts and how much spare parts stock has to be maintained, and recording all the transactions of spare parts consumptions, etc. Then tracking machinery and equipment performances. So when a machinery or equipment is handed over to production department, the production department people will use the machine or equipment, and the type of failures that may occur during the actual operation of machinery and frequency of failures, all these things when recorded properly, it will give more insights about the equipment performance. So with that statistical information, we can anticipate what will be the next type of failure we may expect, or what type of spare requirements will be there, because the spares wear and tear and the damage to some of the components will depend on the life period specified for those components. For example, a bearing may last for some 10,000 hours or 20,000 hours, like that. Similarly, gears, there are so many components which may undergo wear and tear. Next, coming to the decision making on type of maintenance strategy. We have different types of maintenance strategies. Which strategy has to be adopted for the machinery or equipment depending on the nature of failures that occur and frequency of failures, cost of spares, cost of maintenance. So there are some factors which we consider while deciding on what type of maintenance strategy has to be adopted. So there is some decision making function involved in selecting the type of maintenance strategy. Then safety to equipment and employee. This is very important in any organization, because the people who operate the machine should not get injured or lose any limb or subject to fatal death because of poor maintenance. So to ensure the safety of the equipment as well as the employee who uses the machinery, then optimizing cost of maintenance. So these are the important functions of maintenance department. Next, types of maintenance procedures. So here we come across two important types of maintenance procedures which may be followed by organizations. One is breakdown maintenance and second one is preventive maintenance. Breakdown maintenance means the maintenance or the replacement of spare or repair will be taken only when a machine fails. So as long as the machine is working, no care will be taken by the maintenance department on that, and the machine is allowed to work as long as it can work. And whenever a failure occurs due to wear and tear of components or maybe any other failure, then only that machine will be taken for maintenance and the maintenance will be done. Again the machine will be kept in good condition. Here, when we have to adopt this kind of maintenance means the cost of preventive maintenance is high, the cost of spares are such that they are frequent replacement of such spares will be costly affair, or the breakdown of any machine or single equipment will not affect the entire production line. In such cases we can go for breakdown maintenance. And coming to the second type, preventive maintenance. This procedure or this process is based on the principle that prevention is better than cure. So naturally, instead of waiting till the breakdown to occur, it is better to take some preventive measures and identify some of the components which may fail in near future and replace them in advance so that we can avoid the breakdown of the machinery or equipment, and we can extend the continuous service of the machinery. As a result, we can minimize the idle time of men or machinery. There is another type which you may not find in literature most of the cases, is predictive maintenance. If we have some kind of sensors or any other such devices fixed to the machinery or equipment, that will predict when a particular kind of breakdown may occur in near future. In such case, based on the signals which the sensors provide, we can assess to what extent the machinery or equipment can provide service, and accordingly we can take decision whether to go for replacement of the spare or not. So that is predictive maintenance, and of course in majority of cases in most of the literature you can find only breakdown maintenance and preventive maintenance. Coming to the next concept, spares management. So spares management means how the spares are managed, in the sense optimized so that the total cost of maintenance is minimized. So here we have determination of spare requirement for major equipment. Suppose the major equipment in the organization may be an imported machinery or equipment which may use or which may need spares of high cost and may be imported. Even if we want a spare, all of a sudden it may not be possible to get it because of the lengthy purchase process, or it may take a longer time for shipment. So there are several factors that may influence what kind of spare and who is the supplier, that is the source of supplier, and how long it takes, that means the lead time and cost of the spare. So for major equipment we have to consider all these factors and the spares which we may require in our store. And second one is sourcing the major spares. So once the major spares which may require replacement is identified, we have to identify different sources who will supply these spare parts. And then as usual what we follow in purchasing process, here also we have to get the suitable quotes from different potential suppliers, then process the quotations, then find the best supplier, and then we can go for purchase of spares in coordination with the purchase department. In some organizations, purchase department itself will takes care of the procurement of spares. In some organizations, maintenance department will involve in the purchase of spares purchase. So whatever the case it may be, and then recording all the transactions related to major spares, because major spares are very important as well as costly. All the transactions like the quantity received from suppliers, quantity issued to maintenance department fitters or the engineers for different replacements, and quantity available in the store in stock, all these transactions have to be recorded. Then recording life and performance of spares. So when we have the exact data of when a particular replacement took place and what is the next replacement date, and in between two successive replacements how long the equipment or the spare has worked, so its life can be estimated. Accordingly we can assess whether the life is increasing or decreasing and what measures can be taken to extend the life of these spares. Suppose if it is a costly spare, even if we extend some 100 or 1000 hours of its life, it may lead to some saving. Then maintaining cost data related to spares. So each spare has some cost and the cost data has to be maintained in order to know how much cost is incurred in maintaining a particular machine or equipment. So that is all about spares management. Then coming to the equipment replacement decision. In general, when an organization or a particular department like maintenance or production, whatever it is, will decide to go for replacement of an existing machine or equipment. Here we have some points to consider before going for a replacement. The first reason is obsolescence of the equipment. Even though the equipment is in condition, but it may become obsolete. Once an equipment or a machine become obsolete, we cannot use it further because the cost of operating the machine will be high and the unit cost of production will increase. In such case, we can think of replacing the obsolete machine with a new one. And whenever changes in technology takes place, our equipment or machinery may be in good condition, but suppose if the technology changes as per the revised or new technology, the present machines may not be suitable. In such case, we have to go for replacing the equipments which will work under the new technology. And change in manufacturing process. Suppose there are some changes in the manufacturing process. Earlier we might have been using some method or a manufacturing technology or a process. Now there are some changes in the process. As a result, we may not use some of the machinery or equipment, or the existing equipment capacity may not be sufficient. In such cases, we have to go for replacing the existing machines. And a change in production quantities. When there are fluctuations in demand or when there is a huge demand for the product which cannot be produced with the existing machinery or equipment, then instead of having multiple number of machinery, we can use a single machine of higher volume of production. In such case also, even though the existing equipment or machine is in good working condition, we have to go for replacing it. And cost advantage of new machine compared to the existing machine, maybe in terms of volume of production or cost per unit, whatever the parameter we consider. And major breakdowns. Suppose if a major breakdown occurs, the cost of repair is very high compared to the scrap cost of the machine. In such case, instead of going for repair, we can replace it with a new machine. So in all these cases, we will think of equipment replacement. And coming to the replacement policies. So replacing a damaged or a non-functioning equipment or device is individual replacement policy. That means whenever a particular equipment is damaged or it is not functioning properly, like at home we have fan, light, etc. Whenever a fan is not working or a light is not glowing, then only we will replace it. Otherwise we will not. So if in organizations also, any equipment or a machine, not necessarily machine, equipment or any component, whenever we replace it only when it is damaged or not functioning, not in a good working condition, then it is called individual replacement policy. The other one is group replacement policy, where all similar equipment or devices irrespective of their working condition or remaining life period, we will go for replacing all at a time. Because if the cost of replacement is small compared to the cost of labor involved in replacing the equipment, in such case group replacement policy is better. If the cost of item replaced is high compared to the cost of labor involved in replacement, then individual replacement is better. So before deciding on whether to go for an individual replacement policy or a group replacement policy, we have to consider factors like the cost of replacement and cost of item, convenience of maintenance, and the probability of failure. So that is all about the equipment replacement policies. So thank you very much for watching this video, and for more videos, like, share and subscribe my channel. Signing off, this is Dr. Madhusudan Rao.